Guys, the Championship transfer window is now officially open. That means this is the point where the deals are really going to start to filter through ahead of next season in the Championship. Loads to talk over in today's video. As always, get your comments down below if you've seen any other rumours going around. Also, a quick call to action for some of you to subscribe as well. Over 72% of the people watching the videos aren't subscribed to the channel. Make sure to go ahead and do so, it massively helps out. But without any further ado, let's just jump in. Oxford have added to their goalkeeping department with Jacob Knightbridge completing a deal on a free transfer. Oxford have also added Will Vaulks to their ranks as well. Really impressed with this signing, especially on a free transfer. A player who's got plenty of Championship experience behind him, coming off the back of a really solid season with Sheffield Wednesday as well. Yeah, I'm impressed with that deal. We did touch on this one last time, but now the transfer window is officially open. Jose Cordoba has completed his move to Norwich City. Nice bit of early business there from the Canaries. But those are some of the done deals which have gone through in the Championship over these past few days. Now, without any further ado, let's jump into the rumours. It looks as if Columbus Crew midfielder Aidan Morris is on his way to Middlesbrough. A deal has been struck for around about £3 million, and prior to the links to Borough, I can't lie, I hadn't heard much of him, but having looked more into his profile, his underlying stats in MLS, Borough could be getting a really good player here. A 22-year-old holding midfielder who averages 3.4 tackles per 90 in MLS, also decent at getting a goal contribution as well, and looks like a tidy operator on the ball. Listen, it's always difficult to say how a player will make that transition from MLS to the Championship, but all of the underlying stats coupled with the player's potential and age, there's every chance that this sort of deal could be a roaring success for Borough. Speaking of Middlesbrough, they're also set to formalise their interest in Spurs striker Will Lancashire. One of the most promising players coming out of the Premier League right now. He was one of the top scorers in the Premier League 2 last season and looks as if a loan move to the Championship could be on the cards for this season. Plenty of Championship clubs have been interested, but it seems as if Middlesbrough will be the first to formalise their interest with an official loan proposal for the youngster. I'd be all over that sort of deal from a Borough perspective as well. What does the future hold for Watford attacking midfielder Yasser Asprilla? He's been linked around Europe at the moment, and a few Premier League clubs have also expressed an interest in the 20-year-old. Of late, there's been the likes of Brighton, Man United, Dortmund, AC Milan and Real Sociedad all interested in the Colombian attacking midfielder, and Watford have been tipped to want as much as £30 million to go ahead and part company with him this summer. Now, the good news for Watford is he's still got a couple of years on his contract, still under contract until 2026. Scored 6 goals and got 7 assists last season. I'd say definitely their most saleable asset. When the first official bid does come in for him, which I'm sure it will at some point, it'll be very interesting to see if Watford do stick to their guns with that sort of price tag, or they are willing to sell him for a little bit less. Fulham forward Jay Stansfield has been linked with a move to Hull City. It's been no secret that Hull have been sniffing around the deal to try and get Liam Delap back to the club, but if they're not able to do that, someone like Stansfield I think would be a really viable alternative. Impressed with him during that loan spell with Blues last season, and especially if you drop him into a more attack-heavy side where he'll probably get more chances at a club like Hull. Yeah, I'd back him to have a really good scoring season. Bristol City fans, I'd love to get your perspective on the Tommy Conway situation in the comments down below. His contract at Ashton Gate only runs until 2025. The club have been trying to secure him down to a new long-term contract, but contract talks have seemingly stalled, and it seems as if the club is now willing to sell him this summer so they don't lose him on a free transfer later down the line. Plenty of clubs have expressed an interest in him, with the likes of Celtic, Rangers and Wolves all among the clubs who have since linked. Scored 10 goals for Bristol City last season in the league, also got an assist as well, still just 21 years old. It'd be very interesting to see how much money Bristol City get for someone like Conway right now. Leeds United are the latest club to be rumoured to be in for Callum O'Hare, who's of course available on a free transfer this summer. He's already received quite a bit of Premier League interest, but along with the likes of West Ham and Southampton who have since linked, Burnley and Leeds also in the race for him as well. The link to Leeds is interesting. Obviously, especially on the back of the recent news that Brendan Aronson will have a role to play in Daniel Farke's side next season. But someone like Callum O'Hare being available on a free transfer, I mean, no one can overlook that, can they? And what does the future hold for QPR forward Sinclair Armstrong? It's a very interesting situation with him right now. Now, QPR recently announced that they have triggered a 1-year extension in the player's contract, but reportedly talks of a longer deal haven't advanced, and the sale of Armstrong this summer seems quite likely at this point. Now, a few clubs have reportedly been sniffing around. He's still a QPR player as of right now, but over these next few weeks and months, I'd expect a bit more interest in him for sure. Could Mikel Miller be on his way to Stoke City? They're the latest club to register an interest in the Plymouth fullback. He's yet to commit his future to Plymouth and seems as if a move is more than likely this summer. Previously, Preston North End had been sniffing around, but that seems to have gone quiet for the time being. Obviously, a player that Steven Schumacher already knows very well from his time at Plymouth previously. It could be a decent pickup there on a free transfer. Sheffield Wednesday are continuing to ponder whether or not to offer Ovie Ejaria a contract at the club heading into next season. He trained with the Owls at the back end of last season. Has been without a club since being let go by Reading. Definitely hasn't had the best of 2 or 3 years, you'd probably say. Injuries haven't been kind to him, but if he was able to get back up to the level he was at when he originally signed for Reading, someone could be getting a very good player on their hands in a free transfer, but whether or not he's able to recapture that sort of form, I'm not so sure. Along with Wednesday, a whole host of other clubs have also reportedly been interested, along with some from around Europe. Bit more news regarding Wednesday. It looks as if they could be about to strike a deal for Ben Hamer, with his contract at Watford being up. Previously been reported that they want to get James Beadle back in on loan for next season as well, so they'd have those two options to battle it out for the number 1 spot. Wednesday also have an agreement in place to bring in former Southampton fullback Yann Valery, who spent last season playing in the French 2nd Division. And an option on the opposite end of defence. It also seems like an agreement's close for Max Lowe as well. Now, he didn't play the most football last season for Sheffield United, but keep the 27-year-old fit. I think Wednesday would be getting a really decent player there. Still at a decent age at 27, and would definitely bolster the squad in an area where it's needed. Macaulay Langstaff continuing to be linked around the Championship, with Swansea in particular still keeping tabs on the Notts County striker. Interestingly, he was just named as the new Notts County captain ahead of next season, so I mean that's quite the statement of intent from the League 2 club, who are definitely looking to keep him around for the foreseeable future. But 71 goals across his last 2 seasons for Notts County, it's absolutely ridiculous. You can understand why a lot of Championship clubs would be interested. Turkish side Trabzonspor are being linked with Norwich City midfielder Marcelino Nunes. It's been suggested that the Turkish club could submit a bid of around €3.5 million, which is, I think, less than Norwich originally paid to get him to Carrow Road. For that sort of price tag, I'd be very surprised if Norwich were to sell, but it'd be interesting to see if the Turkish club are willing to up that, if their first offer is knocked back by Norwich. We've spoken about Karamoko Dembele a few times on the channel over these last few weeks, and the Brest winger is now being linked with a move to Derby County, but they're certainly not the only Championship club to be interested in the 21-year-old. Spent last season out on loan with Blackpool in League One, and he absolutely tore things up, didn't he? 8 goals and 13 assists, one of the most explosive players in League One last season. Definitely has the capabilities to play at a higher level. If Derby were able to strike a deal for him, that'd be some pickup, but I just imagine a few clubs maybe a bit higher up the food chain would be interested, but yeah, he'll be a great option for whoever gets him, I'm sure. Big news regarding Josh Windass as well. It had been well documented that Sheffield Wednesday had been in talks over the forward about signing a new contract, but it's now been reported that he's rejected Sheffield Wednesday's final contract offer, and so will be leaving the club on a free transfer this summer. We've already seen the likes of Hull City and Coventry being linked with the Sheff Wednesday forward, but now it seems official that he will be available on a free transfer. I'm sure a few other clubs will join the race to sign him. Ended last season in really good form, I think would be a solid option for a number of Championship clubs. How Wednesday go about replacing him will be interesting, because I certainly don't think that Sheffield Wednesday will fall apart without Windass, but his absence will definitely be felt, and you'd imagine they'd have to spend a bit to go out and replace him. It looks as if Portsmouth have won the race to sign Barnsley defender Jordan Williams on a free transfer. I think this one's a good bit of business by Portsmouth. They fended off a fair bit of championship competition, it seems, to get this deal as well. 24 years old, a versatile player who can play as a centre-half or on that right-hand side of a defence. Like the look of that deal from a Pompey point of view. But guys, there you have it. That will now wrap it up for today's video. Thank you very much for tuning in. As always, any other rumours that you've seen, make sure to drop them in the comments down below. Other than that though guys, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.